Chapter. Saya Irwan Muhibbin bersama-sama dengan Ultimate dan Ustaz Syed Kadir dalam rancangan Doodok. Kami nak duduk, bincang dan faham topik yang menarik bersama-sama dengan tetamu yang istimewa. Let's go!
Duduk dulu, rujuk dulu kalau dibelunggu, buntu tunggu dulu. Tolong tenang, jangan berang mesyuarat lagi senang dari rentak perang. Jangan bimbang, kita berbincang dengan tutur terbilang sakapan pakar bidang. Biar kata bersilang pendapat melintang tapi tak melampau sampai adabnya tersimpang.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. How's everybody doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, good. Tonight, special event Doodok Podcast number 10. Doodok Podcast Live. Alhamdulillah, we got a special, really special guest with us tonight. Brother Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah. How are you doing, Kelvin?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show. Terima kasih.
Thank you for being for wanting to duduk with us, mashallah. So we want to say hi to everybody who's watching right now, from Oongoo Network punya Facebook page, from Ultimate's Facebook page, and also from Ustaz Syed Abdul Qadir Al Jufri's Facebook page. Inshallah, if you can, kalau boleh, tolong sharekan inshallah link Duduk Podcast pada malam ni. Inshallah kita nak bincang satu topik yang menarik. Dengan tetamu yang istimewa, Brother Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah. Pada yang selalu tengok TV3 pada hari Ahad, rancangan Money Matters tu sangat-sangat kenal dengan Brother Kelvin, insyaAllah. So before we ask you we ask you anything, Kelvin, tadi I informed the group, Ustaz saya dengan Ultimate, kata Kelvin contractually obligated to talk in English 80% of the time, 80-20. So Ahmad, Ultimate thought it was interesting. Macam, oh ini nak kena tanya ni. Maybe you can explain a bit, Kelvin?
Yeah. First before that, let me just correct you as well. My program is not on Ahad, it's on Sabtu, Saturday.
Sorry, it's Saturday. Maybe I was thinking of the old Money Matters. Ke dulu pun Saturday juga.
Right. No. The old Money Matters was on Sunday, betul.
Kan. I'm still on the old season punya time. Sorry. So it's Saturday now.
Yes. It's Saturday at 5 p.m. Money Matters.
Right. Masya Allah.
Yeah. Okay. Again, Alhamdulillah. Thank you for having me again. Regarding what everyone mentioned just now, it's more about the contract on branding that TV3 wants to do for their presenters. So basically, that is the reason why it's like they will have hosts that they will concentrate more to do in English or Mandarin or in BM, for example. So that's why sometimes you will see certain anchors doing only certain news bulletins, and of course they are also pushing dual language anchors, which sometimes you see they read Nightline and they read Bulletin Utama as well. So that's basically the reason why. But again, having said that, my contract with TV3 is different because I'm only part-time, not like Dulu. Dulu was full-time, so basically I can do dual languages. But sekarang, because it's part-time, I'm contracted to do only that.
Masya Allah. So a lot of new things. So Kevin, definitely it's interesting, and definitely we want to know more about it. But before we ask more questions about the topic tonight, maybe you don't need any introduction, Kevin. Kalau orang tengok your presentation right now pun, your silver hair, Masya Allah, it's so, abang kata it's so dia kata apa, so suited to branding lah, kan? Orang tengok tu boleh kenal terus, Masya Allah. Dan kalau tak salah, dalam Islam pun uban-uban ni ada maksud yang sangat-sangat meaningful, kan? Ustaz Syed Qadir, insyaAllah. So Kevin, maybe you can introduce yourself a little bit, and then for us to kenal you dengan lebih, dengan cinta dengan lebih, insyaAllah. Dan juga maybe you can tell us about what you're doing right now, apart from being the awesome host of Money Matters, masya Allah. Silakan.
I don't know about awesome lah, tapi okay. So So basically, I was in media for about 9 years, from 1991 sampai 2000. Maybe at that time, maybe Ultimate wasn't even born yet, right?
Wow.
You're right to a certain extent. Ahmad was born, but Ultimate was not. Ultimate was
Betul.
born about
Ahmad was born.
98, 99. Yeah.
Betul, betul.
Okay. Yeah.
Ultimate.
So basically, I left media and joined uh, a property group, basically, that has investments in hotels in Malaysia lah. And
Right.
then when I left TV3 dulu in the year 2000, I actually told myself that I will never go back to being in media again, because that part of my life was over and done with, because I've already done it, so I didn't want to go back, whatever. But as you can see, I'm back, and I think maybe by the grace of Allah, who has basically decided that I had this opportunity to come back, I decided to take it. I had to think 2 or 3 times before deciding to go back to hosting for TV3, sebab I didn't want people to say that, apa ni TV3, tak ada orang lain, ambil orang yang dulu, whatever, So I thought that maybe they should get fresh faces more than anything else. But again, since Money Matters started on 4th of July tahun lepas, Alhamdulillah, the ratings have been better than expected. And as it is, so I'm still here, basically still doing it,
Masya Allah, Alhamdulillah. I'm apa? Tertanya-tanya. My thinking is that you came back because is there a particular reason maybe that you can share, Kelvin, that you came back other than, and of course having a probably sentimental relationship with the program, with the title, with the mission of the team of Money Matters team?
Yeah, sentimental pun ada. So basically, it was a program which basically I didn't start Money Matters. So Money Matters, even before 1991 when I joined, was already on air. But again, I decided to come back basically to learn new things.
Masya Allah.
Because since I left in 2000, the media industry obviously has evolved. Things have changed. Everything is more electronic right now. So to me, it was like coming back would be something like a new process to see how things get done. And a lot of my contemporaries who were doing reporting during my time in the media are all now macam senior editors and all that already. So I thought that, okay, let's give it a shot and see how we can take it to a next level. Because I have to tell you that in the mid-90s, I interviewed our Sastrawan Negara A. Samad Said, and he gave me a very interesting comment, because when I interviewed him, I said, you are basically Sastrawan Negara, you've done everything, your knowledge is so good, you're a national laureate, you're a poet, whatever. And he told me, and he said, Kelvin said, that's where you are wrong. You must never stop learning. Every year or every day, you learn something new. There's something for you to learn all the time. There's no such thing as thinking that you are the best and not learning anymore. So take every day and every year as something that you can learn. Like even now, which I'm going to say that I'm taking my class mengaji and all that, so I'm reading the Quran. The Quran is, of course, is in English, whatever. And again, it's still something new that I'm discovering, and every day basically is a learning process. So one of the reasons why I went back again to media is basically to learn something new as well.
Masya Allah, to keep learning, keep learning.
Always keep learning. And like if someone like A. Samad Said can say things like, oh, I don't think that I'm the best. I'm still in this process of learning. So who are we to say that we still can learn new things? And then in fact today I was reading in one of the newspapers that a 65-year-old man from Negeri Sembilan, he's the former tourism deputy director, who decided to sit for his SPM. And he said that the reason why he decided to do it, because he said his age is no barrier for learning. Because when he sat for his exam dulu, basically it was MCE. So he said he never did SPM. So he wanted to do it. So to me, I mean, that's amount of respect I have for people like this who at that age still have the passion to learn.
Yeah. Subhanallah. I think this I can actually relate to a story from one of my teachers, because he was sitting one instance tu, he was sitting with a group of professors. Dia ni seorang pendakwah. He was a preacher. His background is religious studies. So he was sitting around with some professors, and these professors were talking about metaphysics, about how things come into being. And then after we left, that person turned to me, cakap, Irwan, I think I need to learn about metaphysics. Why? Because I need to learn to get in touch with, to be in connection with people. What do you think about that, Ustaz Syed? That kita belajar, dia macam Kelvin sebut tadi, he came back to learn. Isn't that a good trait of someone who understands that he needs to lead himself? Dia perlu memimpin diri dia.
Definitely, of course. I don't think anybody can argue with that. Lagi-lagi bila kita tahu yang education is an integral part of human formation itself, kan? Which includes, of course, mental, cognitive, personality, and everything about us. So, and education is collective work. They take place in a particular human life pattern. Daripada dia the process of training and developing knowledge, skills, thoughts, character, and everything. So, of course, and in Islam, lagi jauh daripada tu, we can see when Rasulullah SAW always mention about learning, about the virtue of learning, the virtue of going to learn je kan. Even yang dalam hadis yang popular tu, man salaka tariqan, one who is on his path towards knowledge, kan. Path dia belum sampai pun lagi dekat majlis ilmu, kan. Dia baru on the way, kan. On his way to majlis ilmu tu pun, the malaikat already spread their wings, ridwan bima yasna, maknanya restu kepada apa yang what they are doing. So and even the fish pun doakan apa semua. So itu baru jalan nak pergi, kan. Belum lagi duduk lagi dalam majlis ilmu and everything. Then we can see from the scholars dulu lagi lah, dulu of course, sampai dia orang punya dia kata sampai dah nak meninggal dunia sangat tu, on their deathbed tu, betul-betul boleh lagi, dia masih lagi nak discussion about ilmu. Bukan cerita pasal akhirat ke apa. No, discussion about ilm. Kan sometimes kalau sampai orang macam pelik dengan kau dah nak sakit, kau macam dah nazak dah. Tapi you still ask me about this thing. Macam dia sampai gitu sekali. Itu yang bertanya lagi tau. Dia orang tu scholars, but they keep asking. They keep learning, kan. Walaupun dah nak meninggal. Contoh tu terlampau banyak kalau kita tengok para ulama, because they understand the kepentingan ilmu tu itself.
Right. Macam it's so interesting that you brought up the how you say that you came back because you wanted to learn, Kevin. Because from what Ustaz Syed saying tadi, the ulama, the knowledgeable is at par. I mean, dia punya kawan dia adalah umara, which is leaders. Ulama on one hand and leaders on the other hand. Ahmad, what do you think about that, Ahmad? Because Ahmad, I noticed kalau dia, he's ultimate is, from what I know, he reads a lot. And daripada pembacaan dia tu, selalunya daripada ilmu dia tu, he becomes a better people person in terms of dia tak perlu cakap banyak. So dia what do you think about it? Being an ulama on one side, learning, and at the same time being a leader in where you can communicate better with people. You can communicate better with people.
Okay. First of all, kita kena tahu yang ulama ni, when you say ulama, people tend to think is religious. But if you expand it, ulama is orang yang berpengetahuan, knowledgeable people, right?
Knowledgeable.
So if you are knowledgeable in that field, you are technically a thought leader. You're already a leader.
if you know so much, everybody in the field was, when it comes to furniture, this guy, we're only going to follow this guy because ilmu dia paling banyak kan. So and then there's one. First of all, as somebody with knowledge, you will as leader because naturally you know more than everybody else kan. And for leaders, if you want to be an effective leader, you got to have a team, right? Kan? So as you have you have to come to the fact that I want the best people for my team. So if I want to do a house, I got to get the best. Somebody, if I want to talk about doing the wall of the house, I need to find somebody that's more knowledgeable than me. You know,
concerning the wall.
To the wall. For the furniture, I got to get somebody better than me. You know, the leader has to come to terms with putting his ego aside and not being the most knowledgeable guy there. Because his job is to do the best possible for everyone. So a successful leader is a person who can surround himself with experts, and then he knows that, hey, alamak, this wall how call the wall expert, bro, how are this wall, and actually you do this. Oh, thank you, I didn't see it this way before, thank you. You know, if you have an ego, I believe if you are not in control of your ego, you cannot be an effective leader, and you, of course, you cannot be effective ulama, because an ego like you said, you know, sama said, you know, Malay people got this saying, ekor rasam padi, lagi berisi lagi tuduk. This is sama said is the perfect example of the padi, because they like, you know, in terms of sastra, in terms of mastering the language, you know, there's you can count maybe with two hands. You know, he will say there's more people that know language more better than him, but he will, you know, there won't be around. There'll be maybe 5 people. Usman Awang, that is on his level. You know, so you is egos lah. I think egos. You need to have ulama and umara ni, you know, together.
MashaAllah. Calvin, you've met so many leaders.
Yes,
go ahead, Calvin.
I agree with Ahmad that leaders basically should not have that ego, because they should have that the inclination that no matter what, there's someone more knowledgeable than you. Like Ahmad said regarding, for example, the example of the wall. Obviously, there's someone who has more knowledge about the wall than that particular leader. So they need to put their egos aside and make sure that they embrace this. But will they be able to accept the fact that there are more people knowledgeable than them? That is the question, especially nowadays.
Right.
Leaders have to be C student.
Yes.
It cannot be A student. A student is the ulama.
Yes. But again,
umara all C, bro. But they have sorry for
correct. But you're right. But basically, it's the path of knowledge. The path of knowledge to me basically doesn't end. You know, basically you have to go down that path. There's always something to learn. No matter what, there's always someone who's more knowledgeable than you. You know, I mean that's easy. So like again, when you ask me about the interviews that I've done with all these leaders, you know, I mean, looking back many years ago, I've interviewed in the 90s when Nelson Mandela came here and things like that. You know, I had a good opportunity to meet many other leaders as well. And what struck me is that most of these world-renowned leaders or whatever are very humble. You know, and even currently the leaders that we interview, not just political but corporate leaders as well. You know, I mean they seem to be very knowledgeable and they know what they do. But the way I see it sometimes is the people around them that could give them their egos. So they don't have egos, but sometimes the people around them have their egos.
MashaAllah. Can you tadi you sebut apa orang kata the knowledge, the path of knowledge. You said the path of knowledge, and never ends, and there's always somebody smarter than you. If I'm not mistaken, there is the story of Nabi Musa and Nabi Khidir. Betul tak, Ustaz?
Right. Betul. Exactly. Nabi Musa was asked, is there anybody who's more knowledgeable than you? And he said, actually, his mistake, he said that no, because he's the Kalimullah during that time. Kalimullah. He's the Rasul. Memang dia the utmost leader lah waktu tu kan. Tapi then turun wahyu, Malaikat Jibril came down and told him to go with his servant to take the path towards Nabi Khidir, which was revealed in Surah Al-Kahfi. Kan, the longer version kat Surah Kahfi lah, kita boleh baca lah. And interestingly, bila Ahmad said about leaders kena humble, and then that's what we call taqwa actually kan. Taqwa it means humility. Kan, dia being conscious of our presence and fearing him at all times. This criteria memang itu yang menjadikan seseorang tu jadi humble. Kan dalam Quran bila Allah Ta'ala sebut inna khalaqnakum min dzakarin wa unsa wa ja'alnakum syu'uban wa qaba'ila lita'arafu inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. We have created you from male and female, made you nations, qaba'il, tribes, so that you can know one another. The noblest of you in the sight of Allah is the best of conduct. So it is not because of you became a leader. So when you become a leader, then semua orang kena sembah you, semua orang kena, maknanya you are the best in everything. Macam Ahmad sebut tadi lah kan. A good leader dia tahu to put things kat mana tempat dia. Yang dalam hadis pun bila Nabi SAW mention about leadership, bila Nabi SAW sebut pasal leadership tu, jagalah ataupun iza wusidal amru ila ghairi ahli fadhil as-sa'ah. Apabila diberikan satu perkara, satu urusan tu bukan kepada ahlinya, maka tunggulah hari kiamat, ahlinya. And then that's what you call adil also, justice. Adil, justice. That's a fundamental perception of Islam and essential character of a leader. A leader must possess adil or justice. So Islam always urges for doing justice to all. So justice ni bukan saja untuk, maknanya bila orang bergaduh, bila orang ada bertengkar dan sebagainya, tapi including pada diri dia sendiri, kan, macam mana yang dia letakkan kepada apa dia punya tempat dia dan orang lain punya tempat dan sebagainya.
Masya Allah. Kevin, when you said you left the show and then somehow the people from where this the origin of the show is, they called you back, and I'm sure there must have been a valid reason why they called you back. And I'm guessing that you were able to apply something that comes from a leadership place. So what kind of leadership qualities that you have been? Sekarang Money Matters dah season ke berapa dah sekarang ni?
Season 3 sekarang.
Kan? Since you got back dah season 3, dah 3 seasons kan? Katanya dia kalau tak salah, they just want you back. I mean, you said I'm just only going to come back for one season only, kan? Kalau tak salah.
Yeah, that was one of the terms that I wanted to come back on, but then, I mean,
Allah knows best.
They did mention on how the direction of the program should go, and then lepas tu dia kata, if you can stay on, we appreciate it. You stay on until. We say so to speak lah. So like I said, alhamdulillah that they want me still, and I'm glad that I'm still able to contribute despite me being out of media for 20 years and my age as well. So
Masya Allah. Apa ni? Age is only a number. Makin handsome adalah saya tengok. Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah, Masya Allah.
You wanted to know my age, and I'll tell you I'm 57.
Oh, Masya Allah, you don't look it. You don't look it. Masya Allah. But Kevin, I wanted to ask you today.
When you Google his name, Kevin Zahari Kevin Abdullah, it came out age at the end of the Google punya result tu kan, bukan resultnya, punya suggestion. Google punya suggestion tu memang terus age tau. So a lot of people memang keep guessing lah.
Guessing my age.
So how old are you?
Well,
yeah. They search for your age.
The truth is that
it is out. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut this into 1 minute Instagram, and then I'm going to repeat it. I am 57. I am 57. I am 57.
Yeah.
But no, seriously. But
there was a story just before I went back to TV3, and then basically Butitin Utama wanted to do a story on hotels reopening, so they
Right.
sent a reporter over to our hotel and interviewed the general manager. I didn't want to be interviewed, so I interviewed the general manager. So the cameraman that came was one of the old timers. I won't say old timers, but he was around during my time. So he asked the reporter, he said, "Hey, you kenal siapa ni?" And he went, tak kenal. And then the cameraman said, "Oh, ni lah, Kelvin Ong." And she said, "Oh yeah, pernah dengar dalam newsroom. Dia memang legend." Strange, okay? And then so she asked me, she said, uh, "When did you join TV3?" So I said, "Oh, I joined TV3 in the end of 91." And she told me, "Oh, I belum lahir lagi." So she wasn't even born when I joined, So to me, it is what it is. I mean, most of those people in media right now are young, and of course,
Yeah.
this is their time right now, lah. So I'm
Yeah,
glad that
young and needing of leadership, Kelvin. That's what I was alluding to. I mean, what character from what leadership characters that you apply at your place right now, being the head of investment group and then being part of this Money Matters. I saw you posting on a lot of most of your posting on Facebook and on Instagram regarding the show is of you thanking your sort of subordinates. Congratulations, this producer. Congratulations
Yes,
for a good job. You know what I mean? So what leadership qualities that you apply actively in your space?
While I feel that the host is the front of the program, there's always, as you know, there's always a team behind it, and without that team, the program will not be, or any program for that matter, will not be successful without those behind the scenes. So these are the people that you don't see, but they need to be acknowledged. The fact that they need to be acknowledged will obviously spur them on to do better things in terms of their job and everything like that. So acknowledgement to me is very important, and making sure that as a leader, I'm not saying that I am one, but for leaders to gain the respect of their subordinates, it should be respect and not fear. They shouldn't fear their leaders, whatever. It should be respect, totally respect, and then things will get done very smoothly. So, like I said, there's a lot of people behind the scenes of a 30-minute program like Money Matters, for example, that you don't see. You have the cameraman, you have the technical producer, you have the people that did the montage, you got the studio director and things like that. So there's at least good, on the day of the recording, there's a good 12, 13 people that's actually involved. Yeah. So you can't say that it's just you can't say that it's just the host. And again, to me, when people say, "Oh, you are doing really well in the program and all that," I tend to disagree a little bit, because to me, the program is only as good as their guest. Because if their guest is not good, then the program will fail. So everyone, I don't know why you want me on your program, because I don't think I'm a good guest.
That's why we choose you.
No, that's Ahmad. That's right, Ahmad. That's why we chose you. No, okay. If I can share with you, this phase of Doodok punya podcast, this phase, we are in the phase of meeting the key terms that we were using were leaders in business, leaders in entrepreneurship. So that's why your name popped up. And Alhamdulillah, I'm very thankful that we got you. Alhamdulillah. And maybe before we go to a clip, maybe I want to ask Ahmad how he because he heads a lot of young. His teams are comprised of many young people right now. Contoh in music scene right now, he's close to Tuju, Ahmad. His name Tuju.
Tuju.
Can you share with us in terms of how you get close to them? Because why I ask, I get really agitated with millennials. I get easily agitated with them.
Dude, I really don't know, man. I don't know, but I try to be because sometimes they call me abang, big bro. Kan? So I try to be the abang that I wish I had. Put it that way.
Allah.
I try to be the, because I know I'm eldest in my family. I don't have abang. And then sometimes because I went to boarding school from 4, I miss out being abang to some of my siblings. So this is paying forward. So I try to be the abang that they ask, and sometimes you expect everybody to be like you. So sometimes your first reaction is, why you don't know this? This one I learned 10 years ago. Then you think, wait, I'm 43. This guy is 25. Oh, he hasn't learned it yet, you know. So kena solid tak bro, it's like this. Okay, if you do this, it's going to be like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay, what you want to do? Don't tell them what to do. What do you want to do? Bang, I think I want to do this. Okay, let's do this. And if it doesn't work, it's like, yeah, bang, I make the wrong decision. I say, it's okay, we learn. We learn. I'm learning also. You know, and at the same time, you get that particular stage of life when you're still learning, you're learning new things, you're in a new field, you get to tumpang their excitement. Because for us, it's like, you know, okay, it's another promo, or it's another recording session. Selalu dah lali lah. But you see them, they're like, bang, I'm going to record today. It's like, jom, let's go. Let's, let's order some makan, you know, like, hey, happy, bring my friend. So we get to relive this one. So it's actually a two-way thing. It's a symbiotic relationship, actually. You know, I just try to be there and be patient and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the key, patience. I can tell it from even from the masa-masa yang I'm with you, that I see you interacting with them. And then tadi coming back to that before we go to a clip, tadi how Kelvin explains how he is how he always wants to appreciate. That comes from rasa bersyukur lah kan Ustaz Syed?
Yeah.
Kan? Being a good leader is knowing how to say thank you, knowing how to say thank you all the time, right?
Knowing how to say thank you, to be grateful, and to be sabar, patience. It is an essential quality for a leader.
Right. And it's interconnected, right? You cannot be thankful if you're not patient.
Yeah.
Betul tak?
Betul.
Yeah, betul.
Masya
And
Allah.
you will be more thankful if you sabar. Sebab bila sabar, you can see the wisdom. You can
Masya Allah.
waktu tu baru kita akan lebih syukur. Yeah.
Masya Allah. This is turning to the probably the best podcast interview I think we had so far. Masya Allah. Alhamdulillah. Everybody who's with us, thank you for still for watching, for staying duduk, kerana masih duduk bersama-sama kami, Erwan Muhibin, Ultimate, Ustaz Syed Kadir Al-Jufri, dan juga tetamu istimewa kita pada malam ni, Brother Zahir, Kelvin, Ong, Abdullah, insyaAllah. We are going to a clip and we're coming back after the clip, okay? Stay tuned.
You know, what are the most important characteristics of leadership? Vision, charisma, you know? I know plenty of incredible leaders that aren't big Steve Jobs visionaries, you know, they're just not. And I know some fantastic leaders who do not have charisma. They're quiet and super introverted, you know, and they're just not that exciting to talk to, spend time with. When I say charisma, I mean the traditional definition of it, which is more about energy. I believe charisma is undying belief in something, and that they have in spades. But I think courage is the one thing that all great leaders have to have, because we are surrounded by overwhelming forces every day of our lives pushing us to play the finite game. You know, if you're a public company, the markets, all they want for their own selfish gain is for you to make short-term decisions.
MashaAllah. That was a clip from Simon Sinek. And Ahmad is back. Yay!
Sorry.
Alhamdulillah. Yes. So that was a clip from Simon Sinek. I listened to him a lot, mashallah. And then what caught me in that clip was he said charisma is actually an undying belief. Charisma, a leader who has charisma, he has an undying belief. What do you think about that, Kelvin? An undying belief.
Yeah, I agree, an undying belief. But I would like to throw this question back to all of you: is that, do you think charisma can be something that you gain throughout the years, or is it built in with you?
Who? You got to pick. You got to pick, Kelvin. Who you want to answer first?
Irwan first.
Okay.
Oh, masya-Allah. Okay, Bismillah. Charisma, kalau ikut definisi Simon Sinek tadi, an undying belief, for my personal experience, yakni hidayah, the source of it must come from Allah. Dia punya inti tu, dia punya seed tu, that hidayah, inayah or taufik tu must come from Allah. So as you go along throughout your life too, that hidayah will that gut feeling, so to speak, will guide you to seek and understand more of what that seed means. So when you go through and then you meet people, and then when you meet the right people or even the wrong people, both dua-dua bagus. It validates that. So that seed grows a little bit further, because naturally I would be trembling berbual dengan Ustaz Syed Kadir, Masya Allah, dengan Ultimate, with you Kelvin. I will be so nervous, I will be so anxious. But alhamdulillah, throughout that apa orang kata, that learning yang kata tadi, unending learning process, unending learning journey tu, you see that if you can gain that charisma in whatever form, you are able to actually learn. All opportunities are opportunities of learning. So macam itulah, Allah alam. So short answer dia, yes, it can be developed. Tapi seed dia must yes, it's the seed must come from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, because we cannot find it anywhere else. Allah alam. That's my answer. Okay, who's next? Who do you want to answer that question next, Kelvin? Ahmad, okay.
Okay, I think it's a little bit of both. You know, it's for some people it's built in, you know, and it needs to be polished. You know, and some people, if they want it, they don't have it, but they want it, they put in a lot of effort, they will learn how to have charisma. And again, charisma is a lot of it is in belief of what you are saying, you know, and how you physically manifest that belief. Because if you believe, you talk passionately, everybody will be like, wow, this fella got charisma, he really believe what he's saying, you know. So dia boleh, you can cultivate it, but there are some people who are just naturally charismatic, you know. There's some people who are just naturally, some people got to practice, you got to practice. Yeah,
mashallah.
So as for me, actually senang pasal the last person to answer. I just agree with both of them. A little bit of both actually. I remember when we read Maulid Ahmad during dulu lagi kan, Maulid Ibrahim. There's a hadith we read, man ra'ahu badihatan habah wa man khalatahu ma'rifatan ahabbah. Whoever saw him, Rasul, whoever saw him for the first time, badiha ni macam tengok macam gitulah, for the first time, first glance, yes, he will fear him, because his charisma tu macam overwhelming. But whoever got to know him, man khalatahu ma'rifatan, mix and mingle with him to know him, he will love him, ahabba, love him. So dia akan jadi, dia ada proses juga after that. Afterwards dia ada proses. Dia bukannya sekali tu je, tapi dia ada proses gitu-gitu kan. That's Rasul. So of course he's the greatest leader of all time. So itu aja jawapan dia. That's the answer.
Masya Allah. Hey, you guys know what I noticed? We are being interviewed by Kelvin right now.
He's in money matters mode, bro. He's in money matters mode.
What I told everyone before when he wanted me to do this program is that usually I'm the one being the host and asking
throwing the question.
I'm really nervous about this, because to be a guest on the show is something like totally alien to me,
Allah. Okay. Coming back to that question tadi, what is sorry, apa tadi nak tanya tadi? Dah lupa dah, Kelvin. What apa nak tanya tadi? Karisma, yes. Undying belief. That's it. Undying belief, Kelvin. What do you think about that in terms of, I mean, from the leaders you met, the Prime Minister of Singapore, our finance minister, siapa lagi? Nestle punya CEO, kalau tak salah, you've interviewed him, and a lot more leaders, business leaders semualah. So do you see that charisma, undying belief in them then?
Yes, yes. They have undying belief in, especially in what they do, and how they speak. Exactly like what Ultimate Ahmad said just now, because talking to some of these people, you can tell that they believe so passionately in what they are saying that it's like they can sell ice to an Eskimo. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So because of their charisma and how they deliver, how they present themselves or whatever is actually amazing. So that's what the reason why I asked the three of you was because every time you see people like this, do you wonder, is it something that they were born with, or is it something that they cultivated as they went on
Right.
throughout their years, to their life experiences, through, for example, even maybe through religion, even, to find that charisma. So I agree with you there as well.
Did that undying belief in you, Kevin? How do I say it? How do I word this properly? Did that play a big part in terms of you finding Islam? That undying belief, was that part of your journey towards Islam?
Yes, well, I have to tell you that before I converted, I read a lot of books on religion. And one of the things that attracted me to Islam is the brotherhood that Islam has, that everybody basically is the same, and the brotherhood among the Islamic brothers and sisters are very strong. So that's what attracted me very much to Islam, and how things have progressed, and the fact that it was a very calming experience basically to be converted. And I have to tell you one experience that I had when I went to Yemen in Sana'a. And
MashaAllah.
yes, during the call to prayer, I haven't converted yet. And during the call of prayer to prayer, the azan, it was the most, which I told my wife as well, it was the most beautiful and melodious sounding azan call to prayer that I've ever heard. Until now, I can't find that call to prayer like what I heard in Sana'a in Yemen. Everything was so harmonious and everything was more or less at the same time. You know what I mean? So to me, at that time, I was like, wow, this is very attractive in that sense. So then that's when I started to read more about Islam and all that. Of course, while reading books on religion, you would have questions, of course, as to why is it this way, why is it that way, and all that. But again, alhamdulillah, I found all the answers, and it was a very humbling experience for the conversion for me. And
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
just to add on to that, after I converted and after I got married, I don't know whether I'll say this correctly or not. So people asking me, so now that you got married and you converted, where are you going for your honeymoon? I said, oh, we're going for our honeymoon. We're going for Umrah. So we actually did our Umrah actually, and again, as a new convert or whatever, I went there with a very open mind and whatever, and alhamdulillah, so many things that happened in Mecca and Medina when I was there became so easy, it was incredible. Based on the experiences and all that I had over there, perhaps as a new convert, maybe Allah wanted me to see certain things in a different way. So my wife was very worried as to how things would be during the Umrah, whatever. But again, alhamdulillah, everything went very, very smooth.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. So that undying belief yang Ustaz Syed Kadir, yang apa kata is present, yang kalau boleh saya kata dia ada di sekeliling kita, dia is present among us and in between us. But why does some people, macam kita kata tadi, yes, some people are born charismatic, they have all the things, all those values come easy to them. Some people, they have to work for it, right? So why is that the condition? Why is that the condition? Are we not all born leaders, or are some of us born leaders and some of us are born to be followers, or am I not understanding what leadership truly means?
It depends on your definition of leaders. So Rasulullah said, "Kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyatih." Each of you are a leader. To certain extent, we are a leader. And sampai Rasulullah mention about husband who is a leader in his household, and a mother who is bertanggungjawab. Mas'ulun means being asked about his leadership in her home ataupun her household. And then semua sekali kullukum ra'in. And ra'in, kalau kita tengok, interestingly, ra'i is not kita tak boleh kata dia klasik pada leader yang kita nampak sekarang ni, ataupun yang kita biasa gunakan perkataan leadership. Ra'i biasanya kita akan gunakan perkataan ra'i ni adalah untuk orang yang menjaga, kan, orang yang guardian. Itu patut guna perkataan ra'i. Dia ada guardian, dia jadi guardian. So semua orang jadi guardian. Tapi kalau kita letakkan leadership means to be a president, to be a prime minister, to be a CEO, to be a chairman dan sebagainya. Of course not everybody was born to be there. Kalau itu semua jadi macam tu, habis lah kan.
Problem lah.
So yes, of course problem. So kita kalau nampak benda tu, then okay, alhamdulillah. So we are all ra'i. So ra'i, dia ada ra'iyah. So ra'iyah means rakyat. Dalam bahasa Melayu actually ambil daripada Arabic term ra'iyah, kan, ra'iyah. So ra'iyah, orang yang kita what the word yang I use tadi untuk ra'i?
Guardian.
Bukan, guardian. Guardian. So ra'iyah yang duduk yang ada guardian dia pula. So semua kita ada guardian sebenarnya. And semua kita juga adalah guardian. So kalau kita boleh nampak macam tu, okey lah. And then balik pada dia punya pasal kita panggil karismatik atau tidak tu, dan balik pada sometimes ialah kita punya nature tu berbeza-beza, upbringing kita berbeza dan sebagainya. And then ilmu, knowledge also kan berbeza. And then sejauh mana pula kita nak ikut Nabi SAW. If we follow Nabi SAW, then we can see that so many things yang he did memang betul-betul ada, memang itulah karismatik kita kata, kan, banyak sangat. The way he walk, the way he talk, the way, and even kalau kan dalam satu hadis sebut he turn his head, his body turn as well. Kan? Jadi maknanya dia bukan tengok macam tu kan, tapi his body turn as well, to talk to anybody actually. And then the way he walk briskly, and brisk walking, takalla'a in Arabic. So takalla'a mean he walked briskly, he leaned forward as if he was walking a decline, sabab. So that's the way he walked. The way he talked, for example, very clear, one by one, one word at a time, kan? Bukan kelakambut dan sebagainya. He was the most truthful in his speech. Truthful pun akan develop your charisma. And then the softest, they call him the softest of them in nature, and Nabi SAW. So itu pun akan develop nature, develop charisma. Sebab kalau orang yang kelang kabut, orang yang mengamuk, tak habis apa semua, dia tak ada karisma, kan? Macam tadi Kevin sebut, orang tu maybe feared, kan, tapi he get no respect. So Nabi SAW the softest of them in nature. Tapi he was strict, kan? Bukan maknanya dia boleh kena main like that. So dia boleh combine both of them. So Masya Allah. So kalau kita banyak boleh contohi Nabi SAW, then we can develop the side of our kita sendiri.
Yeah, based on body language, on what you said, Ustaz, based on body language, people that walk like that are like walking with a purpose, you know.
Yes.
They are walking with a purpose. But do you mind if I ask you this question, Ustaz? Because looking at leadership in Islam, right? Is it based on the principle of trust, amanah, for example? Because usually when a leader is entrusted to lead a group or a company or the rakyat, for example, they should be held accountable to both the company or the rakyat and of course to Allah. Because obviously Islam has emphasized that accountability is the utmost to God. And the people,
Yeah.
you are there for a reason as a leader. So the people has entrusted you to lead. So is leadership basically based on the principle of trust? Sorry, everyone.
No, go
So
ahead. I'm actually honored that that you want to answer the question. Silakan, Ustaz.
so he became a host again, and then okay. Amanah or trust, trusteeship, and is of course is an important concept of Islam, Islamic leadership, and it's a psychological contract between leader and the followers. And a leader must enjoy his the trust, of course. And kalau tak ada trust, memang habislah.
Yep.
And Allah SWT say, Inna Allah ya'murukum bil adli wal ihsan. And then dalam ayat yang lain tu Allah SWT suruh antu'addul amanati ila ahliha. Allah Ta'ala commanded you to restore the amanah to their owners. Amanah ila ahliha, to the owners of the amanah. And if you judge between people, then you have to judge them justly, bil adl. And then kena ingat bahawasanya memang amanah ataupun leadership ni memang datangnya daripada Allah. Tadi ayat yang cerita tadi pasal sabar. Pasal sabar tu actually there's satu ayat yang kita baca dalam surah Sajdah every Friday morning. Some of us lah baca macam tu. Kita akan baca ayat yang ceritakan tentang Allah Ta'ala jadikan manusia ni waja'alna minhum a'immatan yahduna bi amrina lamma sabaru wa kanu bi ayatina yuqinun. So when they became steadfast and believed firmly in our revelations, we appointed from among them leaders. Leaders, not only leaders, wa kanu bi ayatina yuqinun. Who is macam mana yuqin means yakin. Dia betul-betul percaya wholeheartedly in our revelations bi ayatina. Kan? So dia ada dua belah. Dia ada kat situ tu sabar, adil, and then Allah Ta'ala yang jadikan dia, and then dia pula percaya dengan yakin pada Allah Ta'ala. So sebenarnya dua-dua dia punya symbiosis tu dia akan jadi betul-betul a good leader, kan? And then of course semua benda tu akan tanya kat akhirat. Dalam satu hadis Nabi SAW denied Abu Dhar Al-Ghifari from being a leader. Kan? He said that leadership akan jadikan kita regret, something to be regret dekat hari akhirat nanti. Kan kita akan regret. Why? Because of the burden, because of so much thing he will be asked every single thing kan. So macam benda tu benda yang kita tak patut kejar pun. We should not kejar pasal benda tu. Tapi kalau itu leaders yang memang maknanya if we seek leadership, and then Allah Ta'ala akan bagilah, okay, kau yang seek, pandai-pandai kau lah. But if we are entrusted to be a leader, then Allah Ta'ala will help us. And as long as we do our best lah, of course.
Masya Allah. Kelvin, if I can take some pointers from that clip just now, Simon Sinek said one of the most outstanding ataupun most important characters in a leader is courage. You know, how does that courageousness, I mean, have you ever in your life had the instance where your courage as a leader got tested? You know what I mean? In terms, it could be as easy as a parking incident, you know? Has that, have you ever gone through any instances that courage, leadership, courageousness been tested in you?
I would say, especially in this time, like I told you, because we are involved in property development. So now looking back where we are in the corporate sector,
right?
We had to make courageous and difficult decisions, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic.
MashaAllah.
We had to take into account the livelihoods of people to ensure that basically they are not retrenched because they have families to feed and all that. So Alhamdulillah, they were very understanding on certain things that we need to do, for example, like pay cuts. They accepted it wholeheartedly and saying that we understand what the company is going through. We understand it's a very difficult period. And again, just looking at it, perhaps not in the point of being courageous, but the fact that we had to make these difficult decisions. And sometimes the difficult decisions cannot be just for the sake of the company. You need to look into the people aspects of things. Because again, these people, if you were to look into saying that, they need to be retrenched, whatever, you have to look at the bigger picture. It will affect their livelihoods, it will affect their lives, whatever. So the fact that even you say we have to impose this, whatever, they have accepted it very well, and obviously when things get better, we will basically relook into how we can reward them for being with us through this difficult stage. But I'm just talking about on the corporate side, So basically, even though you say it's being courageous, it's not so much about being courageous, but I would say being courageous enough to make difficult decisions, things like that.
Yeah, MashaAllah, courageous enough. Yeah, yes, courageous enough because I can relate directly to a story before we go to a clip, insyaAllah. And before that, thank you to everyone who's yang masih setia dengan kami di Doodok Podcast. Thank you so much, MashaAllah. We are here for the most part because of your support, insyaAllah. So we have, if you don't already know, we have Brother Zahir, Kelvin, Ong, Abdullah, MashaAllah. We are so blessed tonight. And then I can relate to a story because ada seorang anak tu, dia memuji ayah dia dalam kehebatan ayah dia. Ini dalam example ni, from a child to a father, from a son to a father. Ya Allah, hebatnya ayah, hebatnya ayah. Biasanya ayah kalau macam saya, oh terima kasih nak, nanti kita ayah belanja makan aiskrim. We feel some kind of kita akan reply macam tu kan. Tapi ayah seorang ni, Kelvin, dia pusing balik, siapa yang hebat? Siapa yang hebat? Dia tanya anak dia balik. Dia nak didik, he was courageous enough to turn and just pose the question to teach his child that bukan saya yang hebat, bukan ayah kau yang hebat, tapi Allah yang hebat. And anak tu ternyata berjawab macam tu. So dalam mendidik anak, dalam mendidik keluarga, sometimes you have to be that element of courage tu kena ada untuk menegakkan, untuk mendidik sesuatu kan, untuk mendidik diri, untuk mendidik keluarga dan untuk mendidik umat, insyaAllah. Dan insyaAllah we want to talk more with Brother Zahir, Kelvin, Abdullah, masya-Allah. Lepas ni last talk set ni kita nak cerita tentang leadership in business. So insyaAllah we are going to a clip now and stay tuned.
I reflected deeply at one point when I was studying the seerah why the Prophet ﷺ would be a merchant before he was a prophet. Why was he a merchant? Because Allah could have made him many things, but he made him two things. He made him a shepherd in his youth, and he made him a merchant in his adult manhood. He made him a shepherd because all prophets are shepherds, because the essence of being a prophet is caring for a flock. It's caring for people in a way that the shepherd does not want any harm to come to the flock. And who does the shepherd guard the flock from? The wolf. The wolf. The reason I believe, the reason that the Prophet ﷺ was chosen to be a merchant was because the merchant is the most beneficial human being in human society. There is no one more beneficial to human society than a merchant. Everything, the chairs that you're sitting on are from commerce. The clothes that you're wearing are from commerce. The glasses that you're looking through, if you're looking through glasses, are from commerce. The fillings in your teeth are from commerce. The medication that's keeping your blood pressure low right now is from commerce. Everything that is beneficial to the material well-being of the human being is from commerce. But there's another secret in commerce. Commerce teaches you good character, because the most successful merchants are the ones with the best character.
Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Well, Allah made our Prophet a merchant. I mean, commerce teaches us good character, mashallah. And that clip was taken from the Ink of Knowledge channel, YouTube channel, and the person talking was Sheikh Hamzah Yusuf. And before I continue, let me share you a story of how actually I managed to get Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah to Doodok with us. Okay, so the story is, Hamzah Yusuf was here in KL. So I went. Ahmad also went. Syed Kadir also went. All of us went. Zahir Calvin Ong Abdullah pergi, dan teka siapa lagi seorang pergi. Isteri dia pergi. Puan Zeti Juyanti Abdul Rahim pun pergi. Okay? So all of us, I think all of us were seated all over the place dalam Dewan tu. So
PWTC,
balik, I think yes. Kalau bukan PWTC, dekat KLCC Convention Center. The second time he came.
Okay.
So pergi tu, I was totally focused on the talk lah. I didn't take any notes. So balik tu, I was cakap, oh man, I should have taken notes. So what do? Dalam zaman sekarang, you Google lah. I Google, Syekh Hamzah Yusuf notes. And guess what popped up? Puan Zeti Juyanti punya notes yang I think verbatim. I think she took down everything Syekh Hamzah Yusuf said. So I text dia, long story short, I dapat kenal Puan Zeti Janti, and that's how I got to know Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah.
Masya Allah.
Dia asbabnya, asbabnya ilmu, asbabnya ulama, Masya Allah. So Alhamdulillah for that. Terima kasih Allah untuk itu, dan Alhamdulillah malam ni Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah duduk bersama-sama dengan kita. So Ahmad, I want to ask you first, Ahmad. Sekarang ni dengan Makan Bas, you guys are really fighting. InsyaAllah, I think Puan Zeti dan juga Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah dan juga Ustaz Syed Kadir, I think I want to bring everyone to Makan Bas and enjoy the Miyazaki Wagyu burger.
Come through.
Yeah, we coming through, insyaAllah. So Mat, being a merchant teaches you good character. So how are you applying that right now with the situation that you are going through with the Makan Bas sekarang ni?
I think when you be a merchant, you work on a lot of interpersonal skills. You talk to people. It's customer service. And I think with service, you are putting someone else or something else first before you. One thing I was talking today, my first job was at the fast food restaurant, right? Of course, it's service, right? And then, you have to be nice to people who are not nice to you. Last time fasting month, when we break fast, we just drink water. Everybody get the same water to break fast, and then it goes back to making burgers for these people. And these people want to break fast quick. So they are in a bad mood. They're saying not so nice things to us, but kita kena tahan lah. So maybe that's how it builds character for you as a Muslim, because you are in service to your God. Maybe it's not just Muslim. It's any belief, any religious belief system. It's serviceable self. It's always serviceable self. So maybe that's what he's talking like. Because if you become a prophet, you have to put literally your flock, to use his Sheikh's words. You have to put your flock above yourself. You got to put your flock above others, above your family members. Because people will come and knocking at your door at 2 a.m. asking for advice, asking for help, asking for things, and you got to this one. It's always that's first. So maybe that's why he became is first the shepherd kan. They jaga animals.
Shepherd.
Yeah.
Animals are going to act. How a sheep is going to act more or less. And then the merchant, you have to put yourself above your customers. Because human beings, kita ada logic. We have akal, So the way we react sometimes is unpredictable because you're adding logic, you're adding emotions and mood and whatnot. So maybe this is all the training school for him. And then when the time comes for him to become a prophet, you get a much bigger responsibility, and I think God take off your training wheels.
Masya Allah, training, Kelvin. How did being a merchant trained you? I thought if I can go back even more years when you were starting out in Media Prima and doing the news. How did were you involved in were you an entrepreneur also back then?
No, no. I when I joined TV3, I joined TV3, and at that time they were not Media Prima. They were called
Right,
System Television Malaysia Berhad. So that goes how far
right,
back
STMB.
I was. Yeah,
right,
STMB.
STMB. Yeah.
right.
So when I joined them full time. I joined them as a journalist, as a broadcast journalist in the newsroom. And the reason why I decided to join them at that time was because I was already a journalist with a print newspaper. So at that time, to me, electronic media was something new. So I was telling myself this could be a new vocation in the sense that it's a learning experience. No one has done it before. It's something very new in Malaysia. That's why I basically decided to join. So joining as a journalist, again, I was a journalist with them for about 5 years. All in all, I was with TV3 for 9 years. But after 5 years, only then did they ask whether was I interested in hosting, was I interested in reading news and things like that. And again, after 5 years, I took it as yes, okay, there's another experience that I would like to learn, But the training was very, very tough at the time. So just and even though, like I said, being a journalist for electronic media those days was very different in the sense that we had to do our research based on newspapers. We had to go to the library and read newspapers, whereas now I feel that it's so much easier for journalists. They can basically Google everything and all the information is there at their fingertips. So I would say it was tougher at that time, more interesting now because all the information basically is there, but just they have to make sure nowadays that the information that they disseminate to the rakyat is correct. Because I mean, if we were to talk about false news and whatever, this could be another 1 hour, right? So basically, So basically, it's making sure that the right information is given to the rakyat for them to basically make a proper decision on what their news should be. So again, going back to my time, whatever. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, because to me it was something totally new.
Masya Allah, Masya Allah. You know what, Kevin? You know what I noticed throughout our interview ni? You really sort of choose your words, Masya Allah. And this I see with a lot of a lot of leaders, Masya Allah. I mean, there's the importance of choosing your words, Ustaz. Kan ada Ustaz ada kalau tak salah kata-katanya biar singkat dan tepat dan padat. Kan mangqalla dalla kalau tak salah lah dia punya Arab punya ni kan. Maqalla wa dalla. So singkat padat. And I notice as Ahmad, Kelvin now, and then even you said, and a lot of leaders lah, yang siapa-siapa yang they really choose their words. How do we understand that? What is the process that can bring you to that stage? Ustaz, that's for you.
Oh, for me. Oh, I thought for Kevin, because he's the one who choose his word very.
No, for you first.
So we need to know from him, to learn from him.
Masya Allah.
There's a word we call wisdom, hikmah. So Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is full of wisdom. He's full of hikmah. His choice of words, pemilihan perkataan, how he choose his words. Of course, it is one of his mu'jizat. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. One of them is Jawami'ul Kalim. Jawami'ul Kalim means he can utter few words, but these few words can bring out so many hikmah and so many wisdom and so many hukum. And so that's what we call Jawami'ul Kalim. So Jawami'ul Kalim is one of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam punya itulah mukjizat. And then a leader of course he dia kalau tersilap one word pun dia dah he's in trouble kan. Kita pun dah we can see that before. And we saw so many times kan, kalau macam salah sikit je ya Allah kan. And then lagi-lagi zaman sekarang kan, nowadays ya Allah kan, orang akan boleh repeat benda tu lagi dan lagi dan lagi. So hikmah pada kita panggil apa tadi, pemilihan perkataan tu. Nabi SAW when for example when he want to teach his companions about ataupun bukan teach dia, nak marah, he won't say, why are you guys like this, why are you guys doing things like this, and tapi he will use mabalu aqwamin. Mabalu aqwam means why there is some people who is doing this and doing that. Dia tak target betul-betul pada orang tu, macam kau, kenapa kau gini, why are you like this? Why kita tekan, tapi dia kata there's some people who is doing this, why, kan, dia kepada orang lain, macam as if macam orang lain yang kena, macam ada orang lain kat luar masjid yang buat benda tu, kan. So itu kita dah nampak macam mana he choose his word memang very carefully. Dan benda ni memang pasal benda tu hikmah ni is not something yang macam kita boleh terus petik jari je terus jadi, kan. You have to gain it, kan, from experience, from learning, from reading and everything lah. Maknanya kita tak boleh ni, dan dalam yang paling besar sekali, yu'til hikmata man yasha. Allah Ta'ala give hikmah to whoever he want. So kalau Allah Ta'ala nak bagi hikmah, dan itu adalah hikmah yang, itu adalah pemberian yang paling besar. Wa may yu'tal hikmah faqad utiya khairan katsira. Siapa yang dapat hikmah, maknanya dia dapat khairan katsira. Khairan katsira means apa? Kebaikan yang banyak. So dekat situ je kita dah nampak benda tu bukan benda yang senang. Hikmah ni memang satu benda yang very big, and then kalau kita dapat, kita kena syukur sangat-sangat. Alhamdulillah Allah Ta'ala bagi. Dan hikmah bukannya lembut, hikmah bukan lemah lembut. Hikmah dia mesti tepat, dia correct in so many ways. Dia tepat pada masa dia, cara dia, tempat dia, orang dia, dan semualah. Every aspect dia betul. Itu yang dia panggil sebagai hikmah.
Masya Allah. Alright, Kevin. We've talked about courageous, charisma, all the attributes of a good leader. So I want to ask you right now, who's your favorite leader of the past and of the present? One from the past and one from the present, and why? That's the first part of the question. Second part of the question is, do you think the supply of good leaders is dwindling? Do you think that we are running out of supply of good leaders? Bismillah.
Okay, tough question. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't have any leaders that comes to my mind. I have several, but having said that, based on the books that I've read, I've been very impressed with the life and the leadership and sacrifices that Nelson Mandela has done. So basically, I would say that he was actually one of the more charismatic leaders. And when you talk about charismatic leaders, actually one of the most charismatic leaders, reason why I talk slowly and careful, because I tend to fumble sometimes, right? So one of the most charismatic leaders that I've met is actually Fidel Castro.
MashaAllah.
So we had the good opportunity of meeting him in Havana, and he is the type of person which I want to relate this to Ahmad, that when he walks into the room, he's the type of person that you would actually sit up and take notice that your body language also becomes different. And when he speaks, he commands the room. I mean, having said that, he would give National Day speeches that can last 2-3 hours, and yet people would listen. So can you have a non-charismatic leader that can command these people to basically listen to you? So basically, he's one of the most charismatic leaders that I have met, read about as well. But I would say among these two. And of course, if you ask me whether current leaders now are dwindling, it's hard to say, because to me, there's always leaders that can be cultivated. because you just need to see how a leader is, how they handle power and authority. To me, is the most important thing. Because if they don't use power and authority, they are put there for a reason, so to speak. So by the grace of Allah, that they are there in that position, that they need to do good. These attributes of power and authority, I would say, a good leader must know how to manage the power accordingly and the authority appropriately as well, for the benefit of their company or their rakyat or whatever. But to me, the ultimate power, of course, is possessed by Allah. So while the power of these leaders is there, it's only temporary. It can go away at any time. So the ultimate power is still with Allah. So the fact is, they need to understand that while they are in that position, they must do good, be it for the rakyat or be it for the company. Basically, that's it. Sorry, it sounds like a little bit like a sermon, right?
No. I mean, mashallah, that again, how you answer. I mean, how you answer it and how you chose your words just reminds me of how, yalah, benda perkara-perkara ni bukan semua orang ada pendapat yang sama, kan?
Correct.
So a good leader understands that. A good leader is aware of that. So dia kena betul-betul pilih perkataan. Kalau dia sebut je nama somebody yang tak kena, maybe half of the population dah besok tak mau cakap dengan dia dah. Besok dah meneraka jahanamkan dia dah. Dah boleh hantar dia ke neraka dah. Kan? Tapi masya-Allah, apa ni, maybe a little bit from Ahmad tadi, because I teringat when you were talking, Kelvin, leader ni sebenarnya the mirror of the rakyat, cerminan rakyat. The leader is the cerminan rakyat. Mat, what do you think? Can you comment on that, Mat?
I think it is true, because kita in the modern day, we are mostly democracies, right? So you are given a mandate to lead by the rakyat, kan? So even thought leaders or opinion leaders, like if you are in the social media space, they call you KOL, key opinion leaders, right? So you will attract a following based on your style, or you will choose a leader that you identify with. So memang it is reflection. In a way, it is reflection. To do an example, there are a lot of programs that talk about commerce and finance and whatnot. One of them is Money Matters. So you will look like, which one I like, which one is I identify with, which one the way they talk is close to me. So for some people it's Money Matters, for some people it's something else. Right? Kalau look at Ustaz Syed Kadir space pula, preachers kan, they are all different kinds of style. There are some yang macam very doom and gloom. Everything is kiamat dah dekat. There's some, I call them the hippie preachers. Okay, it's a religion of love and peace. If we are nice to everyone, everyone is nice to us. And of course, there are some that is very, very dry or very witty and funny. Not everybody's going to like it, but you will be attracted to the style that you like. Some people like Syed Abdul Kadir, some people like Ustaz Don, or some people like, so you will attract what you identify with.
MashaAllah. You will attract what you identify with. Your vibe will determine your tribe.
Something like that.
Your vibe will determine the tribe. MashaAllah. In your, maybe a little bit from Ustaz Syed Kadir, and then we end with dengan Kelvin, insyaAllah. Ustaz Syed Kadir, dalam zaman kita sekarang ni, kalau if I wanted to advise my son, anakku, you are going to be a father, you are going to be a husband. What dari quality leadership yang mana yang di sekarang ni yang patut saya beritahu anakku, focus on being that? What is it?
I will say amanah, trust, because itu antara benda yang akan hilang dekat akhir zaman ni, antaranya adalah amanah. And then bila kita baca tadi ayat tadi, when we read innallaha ya'murukum an tu'addul amanati ila ahliha, Allah command you that you restore deposit amanah to their owners. Kita tengok dekat ujung ayat tu, at the end of the ayat, Allah said innallaha ya'murukum an tu'addul amanati ila ahliha wa idha hakamtum bainan nas an tahkumu bil adl. You have to judge with adl, justly. And then inna allaha ni'ma ya'izukum bih, inna allaha kana sami'an basira. Allah is ever here and seer. So Allah will see everything, Allah listen to everything. So benda ni kalau kita tengok dia ada sentiasa amanah, dia bukan saja untuk towards the people, towards dia punya anak ke, dia punya siapa-siapa pun, tapi Allah Taala innallaha sami'un basir, ataupun Allah innallaha kana sami'an basira. Allah Taala sentiasa tengok, Allah Taala sentiasa dengar. And then datang pula tawakkul. Tawakkal. When Rasulullah SAW was a merchant, antara dia punya virtue adalah dia mesti ada tawakkul. Dia mesti tawakal, dependence on Allah Ta'ala. Sebab itulah dia, macam Ahmad sendiri pun when he was doing his business, macam during PKP apa semua tu, kalau tak ada tawakal, mau habis lah. Give up. Of course kita akan give up. Tapi tawakal ni memang betul-betul complete surrender to Allah. A leader must got his plan, of course. A leader mesti ada strategi to achieve dia punya any of his objectives ataupun dia punya leadership semua lah. But it is his sacred duty to depend on Allah for the successful result of his works. So if he does so, then any kind of failure does not make him frustrated. Kan? Dia akan jadi strong sebenarnya. Dia jadi strong leader because dia ada tawakal. Kalau tak ada tawakal, dia akan lembik. Sebab we will encounter failures after failure, of course. Kan? Tapi kalau kita ada tawakal, and then kita tahu tak apa, Allah Taala tak takdirkan macam ni. So we keep trying. We got our plans, we got our policies, we got our strategies, kan? And then tak apa. Yang itu yang menyebabkan it means tawakal give us courage and help us to take proper decision in facing any problem. Pasal kita akan lebih objektif, lebih kita tak influenced by our emotion sangat waktu tu kan, frustrated apa semua tu kan. Jadi waktu tu kalau kita take any of our decision waktu tu memang tak bagus lah kan. Tapi bila ada tawakal dia akan lebih fokus, kata okay, aku akan take this decision dan sebagainya. Itu antaranya lah. Allah A'lam.
Masya Allah, amanah dan tawakal. Masya Allah. Before I ask the final maybe bukan question aku, maybe the final request, I just want to say thank you so much Zahir, brother Zahir, Kelvin Ong Abdullah for obliging us kerana sudi duduk bersama-sama dengan kita. Terima kasih para penonton yang setia bersama-sama dengan kami dah episod yang ke-10. InsyaAllah doakan kami ingin terus gabungan Oongoo Network dan Darmedia ingin terus menyajikan kepada anda semua program-program yang macam ni insyaAllah. Dan kita harapkan brother Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah tak serik. InsyaAllah terus duduk dengan kita nanti secara fizikal. Mungkin ada SOP, yes, kita jaga, tapi kena jumpa secara fizikal juga insyaAllah. Dan Kelvin, can you make it a fuller sentence? Leadership matters. Can you make it a fuller sentence?
Oh, okay. Leadership matters without abusing your power.
Masya Allah. Amanah. Leadership matters without using your power. Masya Allah, amanah.
Without abusing your power. Because again,
That's
just
it.
to add on to what Rusta said just now, I mean, you can plan whatever, but in the end, all your planning, in the end, Allah decides for you.
That's right. And all the kata-katanya kita merancang, Allah merancang, tetapi Allah lah sebaik-baik perancang dan semuanya berlaku hanya dengan kekuasaan Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Masya-Allah. Leadership matters when you don't abuse your power. I think that would be appropriate ending for us. Satu buah yang kita boleh bawa balik, buah fikiran yang kita boleh balik dan fikir, dan insya-Allah kita akan cuba dapatkan Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah sekali lagi untuk duduk bersama-sama dengan kita. Mungkin next topic Fidel Castro.
Thank you so much.
Next topic Fidel Castro. Alright, thank you everyone kerana terus menonton. InsyaAllah kita semua berusaha untuk duduk, bincang dan faham supaya kita boleh bertindak dengan betul. Tapi sebelum nak bincang dan faham tu, kenalah duduk dulu. Bye.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okey, terima kasih kepada tim Doodok Podcast. Okey, jangan lupa subscribe lah. Like dan follow dan banyak manfaat yang kita boleh dapat daripada program Doodok. Jangan lupa nasi ayam kulit menanti anda. Nak taja ni program ni insya-Allah. Okey. Baik. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera. Saya Irwan Muhibbin bersama-sama dengan Ultimate dan Ustaz Syed Kadir dalam rancangan Doodok. Kami nak duduk, bincang dan faham topik yang menarik bersama-sama dengan tetamu yang istimewa. Let's go!
Duduk dulu, rujuk dulu kalau dibelenggu buntu, tunggu dulu. Tolong tenang, jangan berang mesyuarat lagi senang dari rentak perang. Jangan bimbang, kita berbincang dengan tutur terbilang cakapan pakar bidang. Biar kata bersilang pendapat melintang tapi tak melampau sampai adabnya tersimpang.